Most guides on the best broker in Belgium are usually a spreadsheet of fees, €2 here, €5 there, and it's the wrong kind of thing to obsess over. Because if you pick your broker on transaction fees alone, you can end up saving €3 a trade, but then you lose a weekend every year doing your tax forms. You didn't even know you had to file, or worse, you actually get it wrong, especially when it comes to the TOB, which is the stock exchange transaction tax. So I co-founded a fintech. My name's Thomas. I wrote a book on ETF investing in Belgium, and in this video, I'm actually going to show you the question that decides which broker is right for you, and then we'll run through every broker which is worth using in Belgium in 2026, sorted by that question, not just about who's the cheapest, although fees will be explained. So let's get into it. So a quick tour, because you need to know what's actually at stake here. So if you invest in ETFs from Belgium, there are actually 4 taxes that you really need to be aware of. And the first one that I'd like to highlight is the TOB. So obviously this is the stock exchange transaction tax. This is every time you buy or sell an ETF. Every broker in Belgium can handle this one for you. Foreign brokers don't necessarily do it, so double check with our list later. There's a dividend tax. So this is every time if you're holding a distributing ETF that pays out a dividend, you have to pay a tax on that. It's 30%. You have the Reinders tax, which is on bond funds, and that's every time you sell. That's another 30% that you have to handle. And of course, there's recently, since this year in 2026, the capital gains tax, which is 10% on your gains above the exemption, which is €10,000 per year. And so this important part is that, and we're going to go through in my next stage, is that Belgian brokers mostly declare and pay all of these for you, but it's the foreign brokers which let you have to basically handle most of it yourself. So let's get into specifically each broker and how it works. So we built this great resource which actually looks at the best brokers in Belgium for ETFs. It's really in-depth. It's constantly put up to date as well to make sure that it all fits. And what's great is that there's an actual overview here where you can actually look at every single criteria in order to choose a broker. And so you can sort them by their transaction fees from the highest to the lowest, or lowest to the highest. You can also do the outgoing transfer fee, like how much does it cost to move one ETF from this broker to another broker. Some brokers don't even let you move your money from one place to another. You have to withdraw it, which is a taxable event. In terms of the taxes, we have criteria where you can look at who handles all the Belgian taxes. So you can see who does it, who doesn't. It's also split individual tax, which is very interesting too. So you can really look at it. We looked at all the convenience of some of these products in terms of do you need to declare the account? Do you have to do, can you do a savings plan? Can you set up fractional shares? Do they have a mobile app, a web app? How easy is their app? Of course, opening an account is also important criteria for some people in terms of, do they use It's Me? Can I open up an account with my partner? Can I open up a business account, or can I have a child account? And of course, safety. Where's your money held? Who protects the assets? Who's the regulator? So all of this is listed here in the interactive table. You can play around with it, and you can see each individual broker and in terms of their transaction costs. And so what's really interesting with this resource is that it enables you to really compare each broker in terms of their fees, taxes, convenience, and you can go through each individual single broker. We list the pros and the cons, so obviously pros and cons of DEGIRO. If you want, you can skip through and go to KBC's Bolero. You can see the pros and the cons. You can see the story of the broker, the fees for ETF, and obviously all the setting up an account and safety. And then there are links to deep dive reviews for each individual broker. And so you can see that there's so many different brokers available in Belgium. It can be a bit confusing, and so I suggest that you really explore this resource to see which one makes the most sense for you. Also, I'd say, the biggest difference is really in terms of the Belgian taxes. So if you do go with a foreign broker, there's that catch that you're going to have to handle a lot of the taxes yourself. You have to declare the foreign account. You may have to also file the TOB. And so that's really important to get that right from the start, which is why a lot of the time it's sometimes better just to take a Belgian broker, because they handle all of that for you if you're living in Belgium, obviously. So a quick one, if you're finding this video useful, please subscribe. I make one of these videos every week, and it's all about investing in Belgium in plain English. It's all based from my book that I wrote about ETF investing. So let's get back into it. Thank you. And in Belgium, one broker really stood out recently with their free ETF investing, which is MeDirect. I'm not sure for how long it's gonna last, but essentially they make it €0 to buy ETFs. Obviously, they're gonna have to make their money elsewhere. They will make you trade, most likely push you into more individual stocks which aren't free, so resist that temptation, or they will start upselling a lot of their active funds where they get a bigger commission. So if something is free, really do question it, but it is one of the best options right now in Belgium to buy ETFs easily. And so set aside from all the brokers, you have to also know about the new capital gains tax as well, which adds a little more complexity on it, is who withholds it. So if you do use a Belgian broker, you'll get the option of opting in or opting out. So it's probably best to opt out. This is because you can self-declare it and pay it yourself rather than it being withheld, and then you have to ask for a tax rebate or a refund from the tax authorities. So that's really important to keep that in mind as you're picking a broker too. If you're using a foreign broker, there's a very good chance that they're not going to do anything related to the capital gains tax. So you'll most likely opt out, but just make sure you get all the information on the transactions. You can also see there are free tools online where you can actually check your capital gains as well and make those calculations yourself. So do double check on that too as well. So I see a lot of people get obsessed with fees in terms of brokers, and so I just wanted to also just highlight at the end of this video is that the difference between a €2 broker or a €5 broker in terms of transaction fees, they're very small amounts. So we're talking about €30 a year. Over a decade, it's a few €100, and so it's real money, that's true. But if you actually put into context, so this is IWDA via backtest, you can see that the stock market, if you invested in this ETF with your ETF, your choice, you can see that via the low ongoing costs of the fund, when simply staying invested through all those scary years, is that you continue to grow your assets and you continue to compound all your money. So the broker fee is really a small little rounding error. So I just don't necessarily want you just to pick the broker that's going to be the cheapest on paper, but actually choose the one whose admin burden you'll actually keep up with for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So that's really kind of what I wanted to highlight as well, is that as long as you invest in ETFs, in the right ones, and you stay invested, then it's great. Obviously there's a bunch of different brokers. I suggest you look at the resource, play around with it, figure out which ones really fit what you want. There's obviously MeDirect, which has got free ETF investing. There's Bolero, which is a safe Belgian bank. There's Saxo, which is growing more and more as well. But obviously, if you're comfortable doing your own admin and you don't mind declaring the accounts or filing the forms or handling any kind of those taxes, and you do want fractional shares, which you can't necessarily get in Belgian brokers, then a foreign broker such as Republic or DEGIRO may save you money as long as you'll actually do all the paperwork. And so, yeah, do be careful with all of this. Do make sure you choose the right broker that fits you and your goals. And thank you for watching. I record one of these every week, so I do hope that you can subscribe. And for the next one, I think let's actually dig deep into how to declare a foreign broker account. Because, hey, if you just went for the cheapest foreign broker, there's some more work you have to do. All right, I'll see you next video.